It's connecting. Good to know next time. It takes a little minute or two.
Yeah, it says it's streaming.
All right.
All right. All right, Bree. This is us. Hi, everybody.
Watch.
All right.
Verse that says, always be prepared to give a reason for the.
We got, if you guys could mute yourselves, that would be awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Turner. I am the Assistant Branch Manager in the Glastonbury office of Total Mortgage. And
And
I'm here with Bree.
and I'm Brianna Kelly. I'm the branch manager of the Leominster office here at Total Mortgage as well.
Awesome. And we're here today to talk about artificial intelligence and the rise of ChatGPT. So Bree, for you, is this a conversation that you're having with a lot of people? Like, are you using it? What are people doing?
Yes, absolutely. So I've definitely been seeing it, having conversations with realtors, but also having conversations with also like any of the, surveys that we get. They want us to do AI responses to our surveys, and definitely a lot of conversations surrounding AI.
Absolutely. So I started teaching a class about artificial intelligence for realtors about a year ago. And it's so interesting in the time that I've been doing this class, just number one, how much has changed just within the technology. So what people are using, what it's being used for, but also I think the amount of people who are using it. And I talk a lot about, if you're not using it, you're going to be left behind. And I can't stress to you enough that I think that's the truth. But I also just think that people are getting more comfortable with the technology as it's being rolled out into more and more things that we're touching. So I always use the Gmail example. If you guys use Gmail, right, what happens when you start to write an email? It finishes it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's reading all of your emails and saying, hey, when somebody says this, you generally respond this. Why don't we type it out for you and ask if you would like to use it? How do you feel about that? Like when that's happening to you?
I mean, me personally, depending on what the circumstances are, like I love it because, it is a quicker response time for me. But every once in a while, some of the words that they select, I'm like, ooh, is that really what I sound like? So that's always something you would be aware of.
You're like, this isn't it. This is not
Yeah,
how
no.
to say that. Awesome. So I think just to introduce people, what we're going to be talking about today is this is just a 30-minute like intro to the topic. On April 29th in the group, we're going to be hosting a 1-hour class, which is going to dive a little bit more into like, how do you use this technology, some best practices, those sort of things. So this is just a sort of touching upon it. We're going to chat a little bit about some ideas, some things that you could do with it, introduce the concept to you. And then on April 29th, we'll actually get a lot into like the nitty gritty, like how do you use this technology? So what is AI and ChatGPT? So this is kind of the first question that people generally ask is everybody knows what AI is, right? Like I always give the example of the Will Smith movie. Have you seen that one, Bree? The like
I have.
robot that comes alive and has feelings and takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what artificial intelligence is, right? That's sort of the basics and the beginnings of it. But ChatGPT is a program that was essentially written to harness that technology. So it's taking this artificial intelligence that's been in existence for years, and it's funneling it through a program that instead of just compiling this data, it's actually making it sound like people. And so I always sort of, talk about how, right, a computer speaks in computer language, humans speak in human language. This technology, ChatGPT, is making it so the computer language is translated into a natural language that people talk in. So it is a natural language processing model. I will say, and Brie, I'd love to hear your sort of thoughts about it a little bit, is it doesn't sound completely human-like all the time.
Right.
And do you ever pick up on that, like when you're reading
Yes.
people's posts?
I actually had a post that I had used ChatGPT for, and it had, I don't want to say run-on sentences, but it kept saying and it didn't sound very human-like at all. So it's just something to be aware of. I mean, the verbiage that they were using was fantastic, was fantastic. But yeah, definitely reminds me of the Terminator, but that's fine. It's fine.
Well, and it's funny because sometimes when I'm looking at people's social media posts, I can sort of see who is using ChatGPT to write
Right.
captions. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that we overthink captions a little bit a lot, especially on Instagram. Instagram is primarily a visual social media platform. People aren't really like reading things. What's reading your captions is the search engines. So if you're using ChatGPT to write SEO or search engine optimized captions, it's actually a great use for it. You just have to know that it's not always going to sound fantastic.
Yep. It's a good for a framework though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll sometimes throw words in there that you're like, the planet in which I used this word doesn't exist, right?
Nope.
So this is graphics that I love. How long it took top apps to hit 100 million monthly users. So I think this is really telling for how quickly this technology has grown. I don't know, Bree, which of these apps you're currently using. So like, I'm a Spotify girl, I'm a Pinterest girl, I love me some Instagram, love me some TikTok. And you can sort of see Spotify took 55 months to hit 100 million monthly users. Instagram took 30 months to hit 100 million monthly users. This took 2 months. ChatGPT was 2 months to hit 100 million monthly users. So that really, like, that tells us that this is being used by more people than really any other technology that's come out thus far.
Absolutely. It's amazing, but it's fantastic though. I mean, if you really think about it, as far as, you know, the technology's out there and it's being utilized, making sure you're understanding how you're using it, right?
Yeah. And to think that like this only really has been out to consumers for about a year. That's how long the average consumer has been heard about this technology and has been using it. I always kind of like to talk about like what's the benefits. And guys, this is a tool I always sort of describe to people as Google on steroids. So this is Google where instead of finding individual sites that you're going to be looking at for reference, it's sort of taking all of that reference information and giving it to you in a more easily digestible format. So what can it do for realtors? Well, it can help provide quick responses to inquiries. It can assist in identifying customers' needs. And it can also really help you personalize your communication. And that's something I go into in a lot of depth in the 1 hour class. But, you know, probably one of the biggest struggles that most of us have, realtors, lenders, insurance agents, attorneys, is personalized communication. Bree, how many emails do you think you get a day? A couple hundred?
Oh, yeah, a few hundred probably would be more appropriate. Yeah.
And how many of them are asking you the same question?
Quite a few of them actually.
Yeah, people are asking the same questions over and over again, and it can actually be problematic for us in if you're getting the same question over and over again, and you're just quickly sort of firing off a response, there's not always consistency and continuity with what you're asking, or what you're answering, and there's not always a great way to sort of track like, hey, am I answering this the same for every person? Am I always giving people the right information? And one of the things that I love about ChatGPT is you can actually make templated emails. So I'm a huge email template fan.
Yes.
I template the vast majority of my conversations, not because I don't want to be genuine with people, but again, I just want to make sure that I'm providing them like the same information every time and I'm never missing anything. And ChatGPT can write absolutely beautiful email templates, beautiful, like stunning. Do you ever use it for that?
I do quite a bit.
I think it's like one of the easiest things to sort of get started with. So I also do love to point this out though. On the bottom here, it says ChatGPT. This little box actually came off of the ChatGPT website. They have since taken it off, but I saved it. And what I love about it is it does have the limited knowledge of world and events after 2021 warning that used to be on the ChatGPT website. And a lot of people don't realize that while ChatGPT is fabulous technology, it is not scanning the responses for accuracy. Okay, so that's not what it's looking at. And it does, the way that the developers developed this program is they gave it lots of information prior to 2021. And then post 2021, they were focusing on the human-like responses of it and not necessarily the information that it was being given, because they knew that once it was released to the masses, we would start feeding it information. But you will still find that you'll sometimes ask it questions and you're like, that's like a little dated. It's not exactly true. My favorite one, and it's actually gotten a little bit better, is a year ago, you would ask it about mortgage interest rates and it would always tell you that they were at historic lows. And
yeah, we wish.
Not so much the case, but now it actually gives you more generic answers where it kind of says like, we can't predict current mortgage interest rates. So that's, I think, helpful for people who are using it like Google. All right. So the role of AI in real estate. So AI chatbots, I do think are really going to reshape the way agents interact with their clients. They manage listings, perform market analysis, because it really can automate tasks for us. And it also allows us to be in more places at once. If you have ever spoken to like a little chatbot in the corner of a website, you're not talking to a person. You are talking to essentially ChatGPT that's answering for you. And I think that this is really helpful for realtors that maybe, right, if you're trying to like schedule a listing appointment, maybe you've got a website, you've got a bunch of listings on it, you can add a chatbot where somebody can type into the chatbot like, hi, I'd like to make an appointment to view this home. The chatbot can be connected to your Calendly link. It can scan your calendar and come back with options for this client and say like, yes, how about we schedule it for Monday at 4 p.m. and the person can respond back and it can have a conversation by pulling data. It also really allows us to, again, contemplate the conversations that we're having and what is the best use of our time. I know one of the big fears for people, right, is AI going to take over? Like, is it going to steal our jobs? Do you think that, and especially in real estate, that any of us are at risk of losing our jobs over this?
No, I think that at the end of the day, our specialty and our expertise is substantial to what we do. And like you said, misinformation, unfortunately. But I think that, you're dealing with people with an emotional purchase. You need emotional people. Well, maybe not emotional people, but you need someone that's able to kind of navigate that process.
Yeah, see what's out there. And I think, in lending at least, we've already kind of been dealing with the AI approvals. And what can people do? They can go on a website, fill out an application, and it can auto approve them. And almost all lenders have this available, but we know as lenders that it's not always accurate. It's not always best. I always talk about best execution. Like, it's not always the best execution of a loan for them. So people do have to be involved. So even though we have this technology, it's great. I don't think any of us are at risk of no longer having jobs. People need people.
Mhm.
People need that. So it just gives more options. But ChatGPT is very smart. I put in here, it has passed the Wharton MBA exam. It has passed the US medical exam, and it passed a Google coding interview for an experienced engineer with a starting salary of $183,000. So this technology is smart. It can do a lot of things. It's
Right.
just not a person. All right. So this is kind of just a quick guide in when you're using it. So a lot of times when people first start using ChatGPT, they just like log in and they're just kind of typing in there, they're asking it questions, but they don't really realize that there's two main ways to use ChatGPT. One is exploratory and one is actionable. I am an exploratory ChatGPT user, and that's sort of where you just have a tab open with ChatGPT on it and you ask it questions, again, along the line of Google. So if you're a realtor, you're stumped on a listing description, you need a blog post, you're looking for ad copy, you're looking for Instagram captions, you're looking for marketing ideas, you're just kind of typing in there and seeing what information it's giving to you. As I said, take a look at my tabs. Don't judge me for tab overload. I had to close all my tabs in order for us to have this conversation today. I think there was 100 of them open. But I always have ChatGPT open as one of them to use exploratory. And then the second is actionable. And that's where you're actually asking ChatGPT to do a task for you. So that is really sort of like advanced ChatGPT. It's the next phase for people of you're just asking it questions and getting ideas. Actionable is where you're telling it to do something very specific. What do you tend to use it for? What's sort of your thoughts on that?
I mean, for me, I definitely do the same thing. I'm definitely big about saying, all right, I'm stumped on writing a post for this, or just looking for information on that. And it's definitely something that I've been using, and it's typically open on my laptop as well. Although I find that sometimes I start asking questions like it's Google, and I'm like, well, I think I really should actually use Google and start digging down some information. Although I feel like it has advanced where it does start to, it links to the articles and things like that it's referencing. So sometimes I'll utilize that to kind of drill down a little bit more.
Get you into something. Yeah, I really, again, started in the exploratory use phase, but the actionable is becoming the more productive use of it for me. But I think that is sort of where we're going to see this technology really come into play. And I think the exploratory use is really going to start to get built into a lot of websites that we're using already.
Right.
So like LinkedIn is a great example. If you guys are on LinkedIn, you go to write a post, it'll say to you, would you like AI to assist you in writing that post? And you're like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I don't, well, and then they say for LinkedIn, it's like, okay, now pay us to use this.
Pretty much,
We
right?
want your money. But yeah, exploratory and actionable, kind of the two main ways to utilize the technology. And then I kind of found this cool graphic about the top 10 use cases of AI in real estate. And I think it's funny as you sort of go through this is some of these are really realtor specific, but some of them are really for all the different pieces of the real estate industry, right? Listing descriptions, that's a realtor, but like lead gen, we all can be using this for lead gen. Fraud and compliance detection, that's already happening in the mortgage world. There's a lot of AI that is doing fraud and compliance detection. And a lot of clients don't even really realize that that's happening in the background of their loan, that we're using technology that's scanning to see, do you own any other properties? Have you filed for your taxes? All of this sort of stuff.
Mhm.
But you know, property analysis, CMAs, you used to need a realtor to absolutely make a CMA, but now there's a lot of technology that can make CMAs for you or some sort of AVMs. Automated valuations for people. What if you were sort of to look at this list, are there any of these that like really stand out to you for what you might use it for, or what you'd probably suggest a realtor start with?
I do like the listing description generation and some of the property analysis stuff, but you know, again, you're gonna make sure that you're utilizing the information that's accurate as well. So, but I do like the compliance thing is also important, making sure, you know, if you post something, if it's analyzing anything that you're posting, that if you're missing anything, things like that. But I think that also goes back to that same thing of doing that to-do list for you, or the automation, like making sure you're hitting all of your marks that you need to make sure that you're making the process as smooth for the buyer and the loan officer.
Absolutely. So I kind of got some words out here. And again, it's sort of some of the top things that we can be utilizing this for: enhanced property search, improved customer experience, predictive analytics, automated valuation models, that's an AVM, risk mitigation, fraud detection, personalized marketing, and streamlined property management. This, I think, feels like a lot for people. Like, how am I going to, now I have to learn a new thing to do all these things. And again, we'll go over this on the 29th a lot more, but I always tell people the sort of personalized marketing. This is like a great place to start with ChatGPT and social media. I always tell people, so the class on the 29th, that is from the lens of social media. So how can we use ChatGPT to enhance our social media? But that's like a great low risk place to start, because I think what happens with a lot of people is they start using this technology, they get big, long answers, they get a little bit overwhelmed, and they get nervous about like, how accurate is this? Starting with social media and personalized marketing is a great way to sort of get your feet wet with the technology, see what's out there, play with it a little, get comfortable, but it's low risk. You can tell if the caption you've written for Instagram isn't great. You can tell if you've asked it, you know, give me 5 marketing ideas where you're like, this one is dumb. Or I always tell people a lot too that like ChatGPT doesn't understand things like fair housing. So sometimes you'll ask it to do things that you're like, I can't actually put in this post that, you know, buy a house in whatever town because it's the best school system. You can't write those things. So it doesn't know that, but the marketing piece to it, I think, is so low risk for people. It's a really great like entry level, how to use this technology. That's totally where I started. Where did you sort of start when you were originally using it?
Same, it was the personalized marketing. I really have to say it's like a rabbit hole though, because you start playing with it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this sounds so much better than how I would have worded it. And again, I use it a lot as a template, because it does use words that I would never use. And they also use kind of like phrasing that I don't think necessarily is as professional as I'd like it to be. So I think it's really cool to be able to utilize that information and just play with it, see what works for you. But I do love the personalized marketing, definitely where I've been using, where I started anyways.
Yeah.
So.
That's definitely and it's where, again, I recommend that everybody sort of get started with it. So what's one of the questions I get as well? What do I ask? What do I ask ChatGPT to do? And when you speak to ChatGPT, I do want you to think that you're speaking to a person, because it is a natural language processing tool. So you are going to ask it questions. But you may have found already, if you've used it, that the questions that you're asking it, how you ask the question is everything. And how you ask the question is what gives you the results that you're looking for. Can you ask it who won the 1994 World Series and get an answer? Absolutely. But what are you going to do with that information? And that's what I always challenge people is, cool, you have the answer, but what are you going to do with that answer? What's your plan with it? Was it to make a social media post? Was it from the frame of reference of a realtor? Like, what are you looking for this? So the way that you talk to ChatGPT is in what's called a prompt. And I will tell everybody who's listening, prompts are readily available. If you Google top 50 real estate ChatGPT prompts, you will get whole websites of these prompts. So it's there, it's easy, it's accessible, but you can also write your own. So the best way to do this is you're going to sort of always look at 4 different things. Number 1 is the persona. You want to tell it who it is. So maybe you're going to say you are a realtor or you are a loan officer,
Mhm.
but I'm a loan officer, but maybe I'm making a social media post. Who would write a better social media post, me, the loan officer, or a social media marketer? So you might actually want to give it the persona of somebody else. You are a social media marketer, context constraint. You are writing an Instagram reel caption. Goal: I would like to get comments and likes. Format: I would like this to be 250 words or less. I would like it to be funny. And then here's sort of my commentary on it. This is an Instagram reel about, whatever it might be. And by asking these really specific questions, that's going to be how you get really specific, great answers. You could also say to it as well, and this is sort of two new tips that I have for people is, number 1, you can say, give me 5 of them. Give me 5 captions using this format. And then you get options to pick from. And then the other sort of fun, and I'll show this live on the 29th too, is if you've ever done, and I'm sure Bree, you could probably speak to this, like, do you ever ask it a question and you just get this like ridiculously long answer and you're like, what am I going to do with that?
Yes. Yes.
So long.
And you're like, I definitely not going to be posting this or using this.
If
But I
you-
make it drill down.
Well, and if so, one of my tips is if you do that and then say no yapping, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but no yapping is a prompt that ChatGPT now understands. It doesn't mean make it shorter. Okay. No yapping will actually make it a little bit more concise, and it will take out all of the wordy. Sometimes again, ChatGPT gets this like flowery, like wordy language. It'll pull all of those pieces out and you'll get like a much more direct, concise, answer from it. So that's like a little tip for today. No yapping, fabulous addition. If you're already using ChatGPT, tell it no yapping.
I might have
So-
told that in my personal life, but that's fine.
yeah, right. Who doesn't love no yapping? So I just gave some examples of some ChatGPT prompts. And again, on the 29th, we're going to sort of work on them live. But you can be using so many different ways to talk to this. So like write 3 real estate listing descriptions for a property. So that's giving me 3 options. You are a realtor, give me an SEO optimized Instagram post, generate social media content structure with HESEC. So that's humanize, educate, solve, entertain, convert framework. If you're working with a social media manager, they probably have put you into sort of a rhythm of posts with using HESEC. And this is the sort of stuff where giving it these prompts, and I can share these prompts in the comments of this later. That way, if people want to try them out, they can. I'll go put them into the chat, but it'll give you, sort of some really good answers. And I have, if anybody's looking for more prompts, I have like lists and lists of prompts that I can share that will give you some great answers. But you really, these need to be more complex than just who won the World Series or write me a listing description for a house with 3 bedrooms. People who are giving it these really short questions are the ones who are getting frustrated with the answers.
Right. Well, and if you're not giving it enough information, it doesn't know how to post it. So I think that's really important. And I've utilized it for other things, like I'm on the board for Habitat. So you can utilize this for other functions that you have in your life. So we're doing a contest at the Restore, and I wanted to be very specific of what the guidelines were. So I gave it the general format, and then it actually formatted it out with the specifics. But the first time I did not ask the question properly, and it gave this. It did what I told it to do, which was not what I needed it to do. So you just have to be very aware of how you're asking. But I think that's actually great, same communication in our real life, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. The more specific we are, the better questions we ask, the better answers we're going to get.
Always.
All right. So sort of my last thought is this: where can this go wrong? Because there is a lot of people concerned about like what's going to happen. If we're all using this, are we all going to start to sound the same? And I would actually agree with a lot of those thoughts. Where can this go wrong? Sounds robotic. There is some real estate influencers who I could tell you the exact date that they started using ChatGPT for their social media, because it sounds a little bit robotic, or it doesn't sound authentic. It doesn't sound like the person who wrote it. The current information can be wrong. I have a little story about a realtor, friend of mine who their borrower was looking for a very specific house. So they wanted it to have a detached garage to use as a workshop. It was very important to this client. It was like one of their number one things. And they found a listing, and in the listing description, it talked about a detached garage, a home hobbyist dream. And the client was so excited about it. There was no pictures in the listing of the detached garage, but it said it in the description. The buyer's agent called the listing agent and was like, oh my God, my client's so excited. They really want to come see this house. We want to make sure that we will have access to the detached garage for viewing, because as we all know in real estate, sometimes outbuildings are not open for showings. We want to be able to get in that. And the listing agent's like, what are you talking about? There's no detached garage. And the buyer's agent's like, I'm reading it in your description. And the listing agent ended up admitting that ChatGPT wrote the listing description and he never checked it. And so that's one of the places where this can go very wrong, is if you're not checking for accuracy. And listing descriptions are a great example of that, because they are, if you don't give it enough information, ChatGPT will 100% ad lib. It will talk about chef's grade kitchens and renovated spa-like bathrooms and amount of garages. If you're not telling it the right information, it's going to just make it up.
Right. Yeah, welcome to the shed.
Yeah, right. Do you have any other thoughts on places this can go wrong?
Yeah, I think same thing. I do think you need to make sure that you're verifying the information that you're posting if you're looking for anything that has any type of data in it. I also think that you need to make sure that you're reading that and understanding that it is still a computer that's generating the information. And the authenticity part of it is definitely interesting. And I think the AI headshots, those are hilarious. Some of them, I gotta tell you.
Right. Absolutely hilarious. I have some, and on the 29th, I'm going to share some of them with everybody. They were like a big joke in all the real estate Facebook groups a year ago, where everybody was, they're funny ones with like their hands with like fingers missing or weird facial structure. But what's interesting is how far that technology has come over the last year. And now some of it is eerily, you're like, is that real? Is
Wow.
that,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing, and it looks like we have some questions in the chat. Do you want to start reading those, Bree, and I can get out of here?
Right now it just looks like sort of some comments. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask?
No.
What do you guys think?
Kind of exciting, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of information, but it's fantastic if you utilize it properly. So
Yeah,
I'm
and I
just
think
gonna unmute myself because I do have a question.
sure.
So when you're first getting started with something like a ChatGPT, how do you figure out how you can use it? Like, I know you've given us a couple examples, but like, where would you recommend someone start if they've never used it at all? Like, what's kind of the softest place to go?
Captions. I think captions for Instagram and Facebook posts are probably that's for everybody, right? So, because we kind of all are using social media, I think captions are the easiest place and probably I want to say softest place to get started. I would say for realtors, listing descriptions are a great start, because you can use the listing description as a jumping off point for your actual listing description. Yeah, somebody wrote, helps me with writer's block. Exactly. Like if you're like searching for something that you're trying to write, and you're just not sure where to get started. Again, this is that like idea generation part of ChatGPT, where you don't have to have it write you the exact same thing that you're going to post, but just use it for ideas generation. But that's where I would sort of suggest. Bree, do you have any other thoughts on?
same, but I also utilize it for if I need to send a response to someone on something and I want it to sound, I'm like, I know what I'm trying to say. I'm like, I have words, but you kind of put it in an email and you can start to kind of take what you really want to utilize out of that and being able to send it. And it just makes it sound a little bit more professional sometimes. Other times I read it and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like me at all. So
It's
If
also
you already
great.
have templates, or sorry to interrupt, if you already have templates or emails or something that you want help with, is there a way to utilize what you have and say, can you rewrite this? And like, here's some suggestions on what I want it to come across instead? Do you know
Yeah,
what
so that's exactly what I was going to say. Is that's another place is like, yeah, if you have a template, take your template, copy it, put it into Chat GPT, you can paste right into it and just say like, please rewrite this in 4 versions. Please rewrite this shorter. Please make this more concise. But in the beginning, start with having it give you options.
Mhm.
That way you can sort of read through the ones that you like best and to get an idea on like, all right, this is the sort of questions that I need to ask it to get the answers that I'm looking for. Advanced Chat GPT, all right, and you don't all have to start here, is you can actually dump in lots of your prior writing. Papers that you've written, emails, you can dump it all in and tell it like, read all of this material and then write me X based on that writing style. And the more you use Chat GPT as well, like you always want to be logged into your Chat GPT. That way it's getting to know your writing style. It will start to change how it's answering you based on the questions that you're asking it. So it starts to pick up on your writing style as well. So you can ask it a lot of those sort of things. Somebody wrote, it can read a presentation for you and summarize. You can also have it summarize articles. So say you find a New York Times article that you really like, you can copy it, paste it into Chat GPT and say, write me a 3-part summary of this, right? And you can ask it, write me an Instagram post about this article, write me a LinkedIn blog about this article. But you can take other writing and dump it right into Chat GPT and ask for summaries.
Right. And I think they actually did that with the NAR ruling,
Yeah.
the temporary, which has not been completely settled yet, ruling.
Yes, it's in there. Does
Yeah.
anyone else have any questions? It's a little overwhelming. Yeah, so it is a little bit overwhelming. I will absolutely agree with that. And it can be, I think a lot of people just don't know where to start, so they get a little bit frustrated and they just don't try. And I will tell you, if you are interested, if you go back into the Simply Mastermind group, look at the events, the April 29th event, that's going to be an hour and that's like a class. Like I'm going to have you on your own Chat GPT on your phone or your computer, like live doing things with me, and I'm going to show you the actual Chat GPT website. We're going to be putting prompts in. I'm going to show you how to best prompt. We're going to talk about some other AI programs, but that's going to be like really, if you're not quite comfortable with it, it's going to be a great place to get started.
But I would recommend playing with it if you can now. It's and there's free Chat GPT that you can utilize. It, you know, it becomes kind of one of those things where you start playing with it and you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I use this sooner? So
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really inexpensive. I mean, there's a lot of tools out there for agents, but I don't know how much Chat GPT is right now. I know when I signed up, it was like $20 a month. So it might have changed, but comparative to other things, yeah, they do have the free versions as well, or you can upgrade. But it's just such an amazing tool.
well, if
Yeah.
you have Microsoft Office, you can use Copilot for free, which is their AI version of it.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
find a Copilot compares to Chat GPT, Bree?
I like ChatGPT a little bit better. I just feel like I feel like it's been used more, if that makes any sense. So it's a little bit more refined. But in a pinch, it works.
Yeah, well, and it's again being built into so many other sites at this point. So I tend to just use the free Chat GPT. I love it, and it has all the functionality that I needed to have. But if you're like a Canva Pro user, Canva Pro has its own version of Chat GPT called
Mhm.
Magic Write. Again, I think similar to you, Brie, like it's not quite as polished as Chat GPT. Sometimes Magic Write, you're like, that was a little bit weird. But again, if you're just using this for ideas generation, that's like such an easy place to get started, because how often do we all sit down in front of a computer to do something, right? To make a listing presentation, to write an Instagram caption, to write an email where you're like, I just don't know where to get started. That's like such an easy place for this, is give me 3 ideas for X and let it sort of generate some ideas for you. You can give it prompts like, you are a realtor, you are making a 5-part social media post. Give me 5 ideas for attention grabbing headlines for Instagram posts for new homeowners. And it will give you 5 ideas. You might not love all 5 ideas, but if you could use 3 of them, you're 3 ideas further along than when you started.
Exactly. Save some time too by racking your brain,
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
find
it's
something
awesome.
else more productive.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, I think what we'll do is in the actual Facebook group, I'll put some prompts in there. And if you have any questions, we'd love to hear them. I'd love for you to ask them. And, especially prior to the April 29th, like full class, we can answer anything you have, put it in, and I'll make sure that I answer it on that day.
Absolutely. And then next week we have same thing, 10 a.m. We have our next class. That one's going to be on the condos, correct, ladies?
Yeah, next
Yes.
week is condos, what you need to know. So for those of you who don't know, there have been some changes related to condos that affect the ability to lend on them. And so we're going to be sharing how we're addressing those issues and things to be aware of as an agent in this market.
Absolutely. Best practices for condos.
Yes,
Very important.
awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate it. We hope everyone enjoys whatever you have planned for this Eclipse Day. I know Bob in the comments said this presentation totally eclipsed my expectations.
So
and we
good.
appreciate that. So we hope everyone has the most magical day, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Take care,
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Bye.